okay? I know there's a bad man in Brooklyn, New York. It's KD Trey, the assassin, big time. I get all of that. But Milwaukee, what the hell is that? What the hell is that? A national embarrassment, a disgrace. You should be ashamed of yourselves. Ashamed. And I'm just getting started. We ain't even start first take yet. You know I'm ready. Good luck with this brother right here. Remember all the stuff that he been saying about KD. Giannis still the best player in the world, Max? Oh, you got a minute to answer that question. First take, you know what time it is.
Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, they signed with Brooklyn for moments like this.
Day at a time, a second at a time, see what happens.
You gotta keep being nice. Hope we're gonna be okay.
Blake Griffin has found the youth.
Don't take anything for granted.
This is just a clinic every way possible.
We got a long way to go. Amazing team on the other side. They're gonna come with it.
It's pretty embarrassing to say that. Okay, I like this little beat we got back here. Stephen A. Smith, Max Kellerman, I'm Molly Karen Rose. Gentlemen, can we please talk about the NBA last night? Let's go. So you heard Stephen A. I wasn't the only one very confused when I turned this game on, and I thought it was going to be a competitive night, and it was absolutely the opposite. No James Harden. Instead, it was a beatdown, and Kevin Durant put on a clinic. Max, I think it's fair to say he's recovered. Kevin, how you feeling?
Tomorrow will mark 2 years since you initially injured your calf. I know you worked your butt off to get to this point, but did you ever think you'd be this good?
Is that a real question? Of course. I mean,
Yeah.
what you want me to say to that? Of course I did.
It's pretty impressive what you've been able to do.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But, I mean, that was 2 years ago. I'm looking forward to just getting up tomorrow and going to practice, watching film, and seeing how we can get better. But, I appreciate that. But, that was too long ago.
We gotta figure out what we gotta do to stop that, and stop. We can't stop it. Make that stuff as possible. I've said before that, he's Kevin Durant. He's one of the best scorers in the league. Like he's supposed to do this, and but at the end of the day, we're just going to try to make the stuff as possible for him and show more bodies, just be more physical, and hopefully that can bother him a little bit.
Well, you're supposed to do it too, Giannis. All right, LeBron not only focused on Space Jam 2, also marveling at KD like the rest of us, tweeting this. That combo nasty, my goodness. Max Kellerman. Was this game more about the Nets or the Bucks?
The Nets, of course. The Nets, once you saw the way they came together, once you saw how quickly the defense improved when Harden joined the team, looked unstoppable. The fact that they're doing this without James Harden right now, when they still haven't really figured the defense out, not really like it's going to be in the next couple weeks, considering how quickly they figured it out the first time, is absurd. The only thing I could compare it to, it's like, and they can't stay healthy, it seems like. The Nets, like the universe doesn't want us to see that all. It's like too much. There's something called a singularity, Stephen A., a black hole, right? It punctures space-time. And you can't ever see into a black hole. That would be a naked singularity. It's like the universe doesn't want you to see its secrets almost. That's what I feel like it would be if James Harden were healthy on this team. That's why the basketball gods can't allow this team to be all healthy, because it's like, no, we know too much. The universe would explode. I mean, this is ridiculous. KD was completely unstoppable. Kyrie is the second best player on the team, and like how many second best players on a team are as good as Kyrie ever, right? Blake Griffin's Blake Griffin. Like, here's the thing. I know he didn't have a big stat line last night. Had a bigger one the day before, right? What was it? Close to 20 points, double-digit rebounds. But did you see him dunk all over Giannis? Yeah. That's Blake Griffin.
He's the guy who's dunking over cars and all that.
Yeah, that's Blake Griffin. Blake Griffin's back. So it is a big three. And they got shooters everywhere. This Nets team, even without Harden, will challenge for a title. With James Harden, you might as well, there's nothing anyone can do. There is nothing anyone can do. Not the Bucks, not the Jazz, not no one, especially with James Harden.
To my producers, be ready to call up that Giannis quote when I ask for it in a second. I want that same quote before Max started talking that Giannis quote. But before I get into Giannis, are you ready to admit for a second? Can we get to you? Are you ready to admit that they can win without James Harden?
It's possible.
Oh no. Are you ready to admit it? Yes or no?
I never said. Yes. I never said no.
You really?
No.
I'm making that up. Hold on.
I didn't say.
Listen. I'm gonna start asking for your comments.
Yeah.
You didn't say that. You know what? Excuse me, Harden. Not only is he the most important player, because I know that's not the same thing.
Sure.
But you talked about how
I wouldn't pick them to get out of the East. Correct. I wouldn't pick them. That's not the same thing as saying they can't win.
Hold on, really.
You think that only the team you pick possibly can win?
Excuse me. You said in the middle of your soliloquy, your diatribe, or whatever word is appropriate, no, they need James Harden to get out of the East.
Okay.
Is that not the same as saying they ain't winning without James Harden?
Okay.
I'm sorry, am I making it up?
I don't want to go down this.
Am I making it up?
To pick a team and say this team is going to win, not that team is not.
I just asked you a direct question. I just asked you a question. Don't play words with me.
What I said. If you want to know my exact quote,
did you not say?
I don't think they're getting out of the East.
Did you not say they are not coming out of the East without James Harden?
Okay, let's say I did. I didn't, but let's say I did.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm just saying.
I didn't. I said I don't think they will.
Okay, that's fine. You might still be allowed to talk basketball since you're willing to admit.
Says the guy who got the finals wrong for 6 years in a row. What are you talking about?
That's right, I did. That's right, I did a few years ago. But unlike you, I'm willing to admit it and not dance around it like I'm moonwalking. Okay, that is what it is. Even though injuries played a role in that, but that's neither here nor there. That's okay. That's okay.
I don't have excuses except for this excuse.
Unlike you, I got 3 decades of a resume. So let's be clear. Now here's the deal of winning, of being right and winning. Now let's get to the Milwaukee Bucks. Call that quote up from Giannis Antetokounmpo again, please. I want America to see this quote again from Giannis Antetokounmpo post-game last night. Could you play that, please? Anyway,
he's supposed to do this, and but at the end of the day, we're just going to try to make the stuff as possible for him and show more bodies, just be more physical, and hopefully that can bother him a little bit.
Cut! That is a disgrace. Who's the reigning defensive player of the year? Who's the reigning defensive player of the year?
Giannis.
That would be Giannis Antetokounmpo.
MVP and defensive player of the year.
MVP and defensive player of the year.
Jordan and Hakeem.
Tell me. 6'11". Yeah. It's not like Kevin Durant towers over everybody, like he towers over everybody else that tries to defend him. Giannis is 6'11". Giannis is mobile. Giannis is 240. Why can't you guard him? You know why? Because KD is the best in the world. That's why. KD is the best offensive player on the planet. Ain't the best shooter. That would be Steph Curry. The best offensive player on the planet Earth. You can't stop this brother. He is unguardable. There is nothing that they can do, which is why I've repeatedly told you he is the most important component. He is the X factor. Give me Harden with Kyrie. Give me Kyrie with Harden. I don't give a damn. You're not going anywhere without Kevin Durant. But with Kevin Durant, you can go to the promised land. You can win 73 games in a season and go to the finals and lose. But Kevin Durant comes, and before he plays a game, LeBron James is giving a concession speech in Boston at TD Garden talking about, I don't want to be stressed thinking about having to go up against KD and Steph and the Golden State Warriors. That's who the hell this dude is. And if you're the Milwaukee Bucks, let me say this. Budenholzer, I hope he's enjoying his days. How in God's name do you come out and start the game on a zone? A zone against Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving with Joe Harrison. He's not making adjustments. You got your team helpless. You got Giannis. Listen, this is basketball, y'all. You got Giannis. When you have a basketball player with Giannis's ability sitting there talking about, well, we can't do anything with them. I mean, we just got to figure it out as a group. We got to be more physical. No, you! Because in the sport of basketball, more than any other place, it comes down to you. When you have those abilities, you're supposed to stand up, man up, and go like this. I ain't going out like that. He dropping 30, I'm dropping 40. He dropping 40, I'm dropping 50. And if I can't stop him, damn it, he ain't gonna be able to stop me. The Milwaukee Bucks laid down like raggedy dogs. Chris Middleton should be ashamed of himself. Drew Holiday should be ashamed of himself. Down 49 points? It's a national embarrassment. They should be ashamed of their damn selves. Go ahead.
I'll say this. I can't dispute what you're saying about the Bucks or Giannis. It was very disappointing if you're a Bucks fan. Very
embarrassing.
I don't think they win anyway, but it's very disappointing.
Yeah.
And
losing some pride, some dignity.
And if the Nets had James Harden, good Lord. Like, could it get even worse? I think it could.
By the way, James Harden and KD and them only played 3 quarters.
Right. But of course,
Three quarters.
they were up 40-something points.
3 quarters.
So one thing I'll say about KD is he's the best scorer, and he's also extremely smart. What KD understood, I think, at a certain point was branding. Hey, wait a minute. I'm walking around almost 7 feet tall. I can score every which way, defend, do all these things. And yet I'm not an all-time great, right? Because I don't have the hardware. I need a championship. Mm-hmm. So what he did was make sure that he had great teammates from there. And then he gets credit. Why? You're playing longer into the playoffs every year. You got the championships to validate it. Makes it real simple for everybody. Simple and plain. And now all of a sudden you're talked about differently. Now, I'm not disputing what you're saying about Giannis. I will point out that KD, even without Harden, when Blake is back to Blake, is part of a big 3 with shooters all around him again. Right. That Giannis, this is what I said when they got Drew Holiday, Stephen A. and people, Drew Holiday, I like him a lot. But you can't try to pass off Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday as 2 guys.
But you weren't. You weren't. What you're asking them to do is to do their job. What you're asking them to do their job.
I'm not disputing that. I'm saying you need
real quick,
teammates.
let me ask you this. Do you want to stay with this? We can get to the Suns, but I feel like
to
there's a lot more. I'd like to stay here.
We could come back to this.
You want to come back?
One more thing. Budenholzer, good luck with keeping that job. Jason Kidd used to coach there. You might want to bring him back because Giannis loved him. Okay. Yeah. Or by the way, Sam Cassell, who you brought up yesterday, who did he used to play for? Mm-hmm. Milwaukee. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, enough's enough. This is ridiculous.
One last thing before we move on. Is it fair to say Kevin Durant has fully recovered? Everyone was concerned about this Achilles. Will he get back to being KD?
I got to see that offense. Like, this is the thing about KD that people sleep on, in fact. It's not just that he was the best scorer in the game, and his passing obviously is at new levels in the last several years, like when he's been healthy. He also became an elite and versatile defensive player. He has to do that again and sustain that. And then I'll say,
he looked real healthy to me last night.
They don't have to play
offense
defense
for sure.
Yeah,
they don't have to play defense. They
can
can average 150.
Right. There's clearly a lot more meat on that bone, so we'll get back to that game a little later. But I saw a rising sun last night. It was just shining. As for the Nuggets, things got real shady. A 17-point win thanks to Devin Booker, Chris Paul, who both put up 21. Oh, and that home cooking in Phoenix, yeah, that helped too. CP3 clean at the post-game press conference.
This crowd is crazy. It's crazy, y'all. To have the fans in there, the energy, it's nothing like it. You know, and I told the guys this is why we fought so hard during the regular season to get home court advantage. And I think we truly had that with our fan base here. It's almost like wrestling. It's like you tagging in. You know, you go out the game and there's no drop off. It's just another unit coming in as just keeping pressure on you. And I think that's the benefits of having a team like we have.
Stephen A., I'll start with you here. What do you think was the main reason for Phoenix's victory?
2 things.
Okay.
Not taking anything away from abundance of other dudes that showed up, because Bridges was special last night. I was proud of that brother. But CP3, my God. I mean, for him to come out in the second half, because Bridges and those boys were balling, and it was like CP3 was saying, don't forget about me. And he comes back into the game off the bench, and just a couple of pull-up J's, and then that step back 3. He didn't yell, ask about me, but he might as well have. It was something special to behold. It really, really was, to just see him go on a little spurt like that, to be pretty much the smallest dude on the court other than Campazzo, and to do what he was doing. It was special. The other thing is this, and this is just nostalgia. You can call it whatever you want, Max. You know, I've been covering the NBA for over a quarter century. And, you know, about a quarter century. Been in the business over a quarter century. I've never covered the NBA that long. And to this day, my hair still stands up on my skin. And I mean, I love crowds. I love that environment. You know, when you used to travel to the Oracle and to watch Clay and to watch Steph rain threes was special. But that Phoenix crowd right there, it's special to watch. I'm going to go out there for a game. It's special to see. They have a true, real home court advantage. And I'm telling you right now, I understand COVID's going on and all of this other stuff. If other teams that play against them don't find a way to get their fans in their arenas, and they ain't like that, you ain't beating Phoenix. Yeah, I'm telling you right now, that crowd is the proverbial sixth man, and it is special to see. It's a treat to watch this game. You want to be there when you're watching.
That's a home court advantage.
No question.
Especially coming out of social distancing.
Yes.
And now you see that. You felt like they fed off the energy.
100%. They went on a 39-12 run.
Right. That's
unreal in like the third to fourth quarter. Yeah.
And Chris Paul, also, what you talk about the jump shot, the timing. Chris Paul seems to have the timing exactly right when his team needs
He's so
what.
clutch.
But that's not who I'm focused on. I think the story was actually DeAndre Ayton. And the reason is going into these playoffs. And by the way, some of that's Chris Paul. Like, what's Chris Paul's influence going to be on Ayton? Everyone thought that he'd have a positive influence. Mm-hmm. But DeAndre Ayton was young and raw. You couldn't call him a bust. Even though he's in that same draft, Luka went third and Trae Young went fifth. He went first, right? But you still couldn't call him a bust because he's putting up numbers. Trae went 4, and Luka went 3.
They swapped.
And Bagley Jr. went 2. And he went 1. And you still couldn't call him a bust because, well, hold on, this is a center, a big, who can do a lot of things. He's already averaging almost like 20 and 10. Mm-hmm. But how would he react in the playoffs when he has to go up against AD and Jokic? Ooh, that's a disadvantage. He's too green. Nope. Even before AD got hurt, he was a problem. You have to account for him. Offensively and now also defensively. Jokic. One of the reasons I was confident in Denver is what are you going to do about Jokic's passing ability? Even if you can stop him from scoring, which is hard, he can take you out to the three-point line. He can score inside, and he's a genius-level passer with eyes in the back of his head. What are you going to do? Ayton bothered him. Jokic in the second half looked like he had been working. And that's DeAndre Ayton, and then Ayton can also get his. So I'm not saying Ayton is better than Jokic, but he's a counterbalance. He's a balance to Jokic in this series. And considering Ayton was the guy coming into this season who was actually the biggest question mark, your number 1 overall pick was already pretty good. One of the reasons I liked him since the preseason. Wait, a backcourt of Chris Paul and Booker? You got Mikal Bridges, and I keep bringing up Cam Johnson, who's off the bench now because you have Jay Crowder, and DeAndre Ayton is your, hey, what's he going to give you? If he gives you this, the Suns are live to get out of the West. If Ayton gives you that.
Listen, Ayton definitely negated Jokic to some degree. He dropped 20 and 10 last night. He's been very consistent throughout these playoffs and deserves a lot of credit. And if he continues to do that, he deserves all the praise that Max has given him, and I'm not knocking that. On a side note, you brought up Marvin Bagley. He's been pretty much hurt the last 2 years, so I'm not going to get on him. Missed about 29 games this past season. Missed about damn near 70 games the season before that. It's been injury prone. I get it. But if you Marvin Bagley, we're going to remind you again, my brother, member of the Sacramento Kings. You got DeAndre Ayton now. You got Luka. You got Trae. And in the middle is you. You're on the verge of being considered Darko Milicic, all right? Get it together, my brother. You got to be in that mix, okay? So get your health right and get ready to
don't want to be known for freestyling more than
that's right. You got your rap album that came out in 2019, but you paid to play ball. Let's get it together. In the end, when it comes down to getting back to Phoenix, I'm just telling you, that crowd is something. And Mikal Bridges showed up last night and showed out. This brother was balling, and I've been a fan of Cameron Payne now, watching him throughout these playoffs, coming off that bench, filling in for CP3 the way that he has. He's aggressive, made some heady mistakes last night, but for the most part, he's been playing very, very well, and he's aggressive. These cats ain't scared of anybody. The only thing is, I will say this that I noticed, Max. Aaron Gordon, guarding Devin Booker. Now, Devin Booker didn't look like he looked against the Lakers.
Aaron Gordon's been excellent for this team.
This dude,
both ends of the floor.
This dude, both ends of the floor. Yeah. He's strong. He's a mismatch for almost anybody who's guarding him.
You can't leave him alone on the outside. He shoots that with confidence.
I understand that, but the point is that he can big boy them.
Yeah.
And that's a problem because if he's successful in doing that, Max, then they'll need to bring help. That help might come in the form of an Ayton. If that happens and you're able to get him into foul trouble, you got a problem because yesterday, like late in the third quarter, early in the fourth quarter, Ayton picked up his first foul. So if you're Denver and you're Coach Malone, you got to attack him to get him out of the game and make them go small because there's really no answer for Jokic anyway.
That's very good analysis.
But especially if you get 8 in foul trouble.
Hold up, I just have to say one thing about the home court, though. Do you see when Booker laid down on the court like he did last year? When you talk about the home court going nuts, you know what I'm talking about when he lays down after he makes the shot? It's just like ridiculous.
One thing about that,
I'm going nuts in my living room.
One thing about that is since we're talking about home court and the Suns have it and they defended it.
I wish we had. I don't know if we have the video of when that happened.
Denver's mile high. Yeah. Like Denver's an actual home court advantage. These dudes are used to playing at altitude other teams aren't. So,
that's true.
But that puts more pressure on you to win at home because it's going to be that much tougher in Denver.
The Suns are going to have to defend home court in this series. They're good, and they did. Game 1, they did, but Denver got another crack at it.
Listen, we didn't have home court advantage last season, so it's fun to kind of see that play out right now.
No doubt.
It's special.
All right, we are still on camera here, Stephen A., but we're going to talk Cowboys next. Are they the best team in the NFC? Do they have the best offense? I was going to ask you for a preview of your answer, but this is just disrespectful.
You said Cowboys at best. You made me laugh.
Yes, best offense. Whatever.
The NFC East?
Whatever, guys. And money talks, but is it loud enough for Aaron Rodgers to change his tune? Our guys debate whether the... So, Aaron Rodgers, he's been out here living his best life. You saw the photos. Summer vacay came early. So, no surprise, the reigning MVP not expected to be on the practice field when the Green Bay Packers open their mini camp today. That, according to our Adam Schefter. This will mark the first time ever Rodgers has skipped a mandatory offseason event. So he's subject to over $93,000 in fines if he does not show up for the entire 3-day camp. Most of us would be running like a track star to get that green, but Rodgers, his pockets run deep. He's made more than $200 million in his career, so it's clear he's salty and he doesn't want to be there. Stephen A. Smith, should the Packers keep Rodgers?
Well, we all know the answer to that is no, but they don't seem to care, and I hope that the football world is paying attention. See, this is the problem. Because it's the National Football League, you get away with stuff. And I keep talking about this. Everybody keeps bringing up football. Dan Graciano and others who work for this network are doing a great job that they do, but they constantly bring up football. It's clearly not about football with Aaron Rodgers. If it were about football, why would he want to leave Green Bay? Okay, it's Green Bay. They've been to back-to-back NFC Championship games. Some would say they're a tweak here or there away from winning the whole thing. Why would he want to leave? He wants to leave because he's miserable. And he wants to leave because he's miserable of who he's working for. And Mark Murphy validated that the other day by engaging in his version of spin. Well, Aaron Rodgers has divided the fan base. You've divided the fan base. Because the fan base loved Aaron Rodgers. But all of a sudden, he's in the midst of all of this because of how you treated him. That's why it's divided. Notice how he tried to shift the onus on the shoulders of the player. And see, this is what players get upset about, and I don't blame them one bit. Because what they do, particularly in the NFL, but in all of sports from time to time, anytime there's some kind of controversy like this, you engage in spin. The players can't do that because the public views most of these athletes as individuals who should be grateful for having what they have. Not that they earned it, not that they worked for it, not that they sacrificed
like they got a lottery ticket.
Exactly.
They got a lottery ticket, so the public views them that way. Management knows that. And so anytime the player's in the eye of the storm, you're always going to have people who believe they should just shut up and play. And so as a result, you can get away with treating him how you treated him. And then they use this mechanism, his teammates. Because watch what they start talking about when he misses the mandatory minicamp, and Lord help him if he doesn't show up to training camp. You're leaving your teammates hanging. See, it's never about what you did to him. It's about what he's doing to you, what he's doing to the organization, what he's doing to his teammates, what he's doing to his fans. That's the game they play. And they're trying to play it with Aaron Rodgers. And what I love about Aaron Rodgers at this particular moment in time, he doesn't appear to care. And guess what? He's right. Because I've been saying it, and you know, Max, I've been saying it for the last couple of years. Long before this ever happened, I came on this show. He ain't happy. He's been mistreated. He's been disrespected. What's the problem? They're winning games. No. If you're that great, you believe you can go many other places and win. You're not thinking, oh, I have to stay here to win. You can go many places to win. You're just saying, I don't like his ass. And in this case, that would mean Mark Murphy. That's the issue here in Gutekunst to some degree. Them. That's what this is about.
I need a meme of you saying that.
Funny how Mark Murphy's name comes. It was Gutekunst until
no, but
now
the whole
because of what he said. Because of what he said publicly the other day.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I brought him up. But it's Gutekunst too. It's both of them. It's both of them.
Should the Packers keep Rodgers, even though he doesn't want to be there? Of course, the answer is no, and I explained why. It's not in the best interest of the Packers. You can't win a Super Bowl, I don't believe. Teddy Bruschi's on the. We'll ask Teddy Bruschi. I don't think you can win a Super Bowl if the quarterback doesn't want to be there. Stephen A., you can win games, you can get to the playoffs, maybe even win a playoff game. But to bring your team to deliver them to the promised land, you need that. You're going to have a quarterback, the leader of the team, who doesn't want to be there. I don't see how that works in a full contact sport. I think the Packers know this too. So they know they have to trade him. But what if they don't? What if they actually hold on to Rodgers? What would they be doing there? I'd say cutting off their nose to spite their face, because you could get, you would think, at least 3 firsts and stuff for Rodgers. So if you know you can't win a Super Bowl with him, and you can get a mountain of stuff for him, why wouldn't you do that?
They don't believe they can't win a Super Bowl with him,
I think they do. I don't think, like, we'll talk to, but like, I don't think, do you think you can win a Super Bowl with a quarterback who doesn't want to be there?
I do, but I understand your philosophy.
Okay, and I don't think the Packers do either, but
carry on with your point.
Right.
I think he's a professional. He's going to show up. He doesn't want to get hurt.
That's right.
And if he's there, he's going to play his heart out. That's what I believe, but I understand your mindset.
Right up until heart out. In other words,
I do. You have pride for your job.
For sure. And he can, but there's a difference between going through the motions, even at a high level, and being excellent, which he'll always be, and leading a team to a championship. That's a different thing. It's the reason you love Brady so much. Brady is all in. Yeah. That's why. Okay, now, remember Le'Veon Bell, Stephen A., with the Steelers, that situation where he was like, they were like, we want you to stay so much. Here's a 3-year contract. He said, that's not enough. I'm going to sit out. He said, you know what? I'll come and play if you agree not to franchise me next year. Don't use the franchise tag on me. They said, nope, sit out. So in other words, we want you so much, play for us for 3 years. No, but I'll play for you for 1 year. Nope, it's either 3 years or no years. Well, if you want him so much, why wouldn't you at least take a year from him? Why? Because what's more important to them is that control. They need to send the message to the players. Stay in your lane. You don't call the shots, we call the shots. Now, are the Packers willing to do that? Not with an aging running back, but with the reigning MVP, when they're set up to win a Super Bowl, are they willing just to send a message, stay in your lane, to sacrifice their season and seasons going forward right now, to give up on 3 first-round picks at least, when they could have all that? I don't think they are. They have 2 options, because Rodgers is calling the shots. Change his mind, which they'll have to humble themselves to do, or trade him. One or the other.
Yeah. You know, listen, I'm not disputing that. I'm simply saying that they should move him because he doesn't want to be there. Usually in most organizations, when you tell them you want to be gone, they want you out of here, especially in football, because they worry about that locker room so much. They always claim they worry about the locker room. Well, if you worry about the locker room with a running back, if you worried about the locker room with a linebacker, a defensive lineman, a safety, anybody, how the hell are you not worried about a locker room with your quarterback?
This is what I mean.
That's what I'm saying. So my point
So you agree with Max that if he stays there, they can't win a Super Bowl because he'll be disgruntled?
No, I want to say that because I think he's going to go on the field to perform. What I'm saying is that in the end, he doesn't want to be there.
Of course.
And if he doesn't want to be there, what does it say about you as an organization that you insist on holding him hostage and keeping him where he doesn't want to be? What does that say about you as an organization? That's the question that we need to ask ourselves, because in the end, any kind of decent professional is going to go into their job and they're going to try to perform. Their heart might not be in it, but they're going to try to perform.
And you guys really think, I'm just a real question, you both really think that if your heart's not in it, just because you're performing, you can lead a team to a championship?
What I'm saying, see, the word is lead. That's the operative word there. Because again, Max, you might have others that are more emotionally invested than him. But it ain't going to stop him from flinging the football the way he's capable of flinging the football.
He didn't get to this level by accident. Right. You don't want to get hurt in this game. There's been times I'm sure Stephen A. hasn't wanted to be here, and he's still here, and he shows up and he delivers. And it's not about the team. It's about Stephen A. and the pride for his job. And I think the same goes for Rodgers. But you lead, but I don't know if he's that rah-rah guy anyway. I think he's leading by example.
I don't think it's just about rah-rah. I think winning a Super Bowl is different than just getting to the playoffs and maybe winning a playoff.
Well, let me ask you this question, Max.
The number of obstacles in your way. Let
me get it more direct and bring it home for you this way by asking you this simple question. Do you believe, Aaron Rodgers believes, there's a multitude of places he could go where he could compete for a Super Bowl?
I do.
That's the point. See, in other words, what I'm saying is, he doesn't believe he has to be married to Green Bay in order to achieve what we're talking about. So his whole point is that I don't want to be with you guys.
No doubt.
And that's
by
what
the way,
this
look,
is.
if you're the Packers are basically like it's like a relationship, right? And Rodgers is like, I think we ought to break up. Mm-hmm. And the Packers are like, boy, you're so fine, or you make so much money, whatever it is that they think is you're such a catch. Mm-hmm. We don't want to let you go. He's like, yeah, but I don't love you anymore.
Here's my only problem with.
And they're going to stay in that relationship.
I don't critique my colleagues, my contemporaries, the people in the business like that. But here's my only problem: whether it's Mark Murphy or it's Brian Gutekunst, if I were in front of them interviewing them, one of my first questions would be, "What did you do to him? What did you do to him?"
Well, we know a few things that publicly went down.
Wait a minute.
That would upset any of us.
Wait a minute. They said we could have handled things better. That's very vague. That's very vague.
He drafted a quarterback when he needed help.
Molly, he was upset before that. Listen, I told y'all, this man once walked into their office to make a suggestion, and they told him to get the hell up out of here. You play, we run the organization.
That's the point.
I'm just saying.
That's very important.
That's the disrespect.
Right. So what I'm saying is, when I ask that question, it's not the obvious stuff where you went and drafted somebody, his successor before it was his time, whatever. This guy is there every day, been there every day for 15 years. What did you do to him? Brian Gutekunst just took over in 2018. He just took over they completed 3 seasons. Wait a minute. This dude, you come on the job. You've had back-to-back trips to the NFC title game. And there were talks that he wanted you fired. What did you do? You did something. Aaron Rodgers in the NFC Championship game, football. We talk about football. It's a violent sport. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. Any given Sunday, all of this other stuff. And you in your 3rd year on the job, fresh off a back-to-back trip to the NFC title game, he's going to say he wants you gone? What did you do? Nobody's asked Gutekunst that. We assume it's just him drafting Jordan Love. No, it's more than that. That man did something to Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
Aaron Rodgers doesn't just come in there, I don't want to show up. I don't want to come there.
Yeah.
You did
Max
something.
had said that. Clearly it's personal for him, even if it's business for them.
And let me say one thing about the Packers. Mm-hmm. Do you know why they have to take this position? I believe the Packers know. Give 2 choices. Aaron Rodgers is going to decide this thing. Change his mind or trade him, right? You either change his mind or trade him. But publicly, they have to do this.
Publicly owned.
Yes, that's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
But they have to do it because if the rest of the league believes you are looking to trade him, those 3 draft firsts become 2 firsts. Of course the Packers have to posture like this.
Yeah.
While they're seeing, can we change his mind, or else the deal they get will not be as good. But they will deal him.
Of course.
Or unless he changes his mind, they will deal him.
But the real question is it past the point of changing his mind, no matter what's offered? And sometimes that just happens in life. You're just done with a situation no matter what. You've reached a breaking point, and it doesn't matter what they offer you. You need to move on.
Yeah, and you lose even more respect, and you tinker on the verge of getting volatile, more emotionally and physically, of course, when your wishes are ignored. Yeah. And that is the case with Aaron Rodgers.
Absolutely. It's just unbelievable that it got to this point when we're talking about the MVP, one of the best we've ever seen. All right, guys, when we come back, we got more NBA to get into. Playoffs are happening. The 76ers down 1-0 to the Hawks. Stephen A. has the Game 2 in their semifinals matchup, the 76ers turned the ball over 19 times in Game 1, leading to 28 points for the Hawks. Philly averaged under 9 turnovers in Game 2, taking 2 of the 3 regular season meetings against Atlanta. Joel Embiid scored 39 points despite his knee issues, but the MVP finalist shot just 5 for 12 outside the paint in Game 1 per Spectrum. He was 7 for 9 when shooting from inside. And speaking of shooting, Ben Simmons just 3 for 10 on free throws in Game 1 among qualified shooters. His 34% rate at the line this postseason is the worst mark through 6 games since Shaq in 2004. The offense may have been an issue, but 76ers need to find a way to stop Trey.
Been knowing him a lot, Lauren. We like Ben on Trey. We don't like him on him all game. Trey does a great job of drawing fouls.
All right, Stephen A., who needs to step up for the Sixers to even the series?
I'm going to say Tobias Harris. Here's the reason why. Because he had 20 points. I believe it was like 10 rebounds. I'm just looking at his numbers here. 20 points, 10 rebounds. Hit 8 of 13 shots. He's got to be more aggressive. Here's the reason why. You're not stopping Atlanta from scoring. They have too many shooters. I had Quavo on my show, Stephen A's World, on ESPN Plus yesterday. He was at the game Sunday, chilling with Ruben, the part owner of the 76ers, before showing up to the Mayweather-Logan exhibition match in Miami that day. And you know, Quavo was talking about this as well, because it was like this. Look, you got Trey, you got Collins, you got Lou Williams, you got Herter. These brothers can shoot. And oh, by the way, they also make free throws. The Atlanta Hawks got to the free throw line 14 times less than the Philadelphia 76ers. But the Philadelphia 76ers missed 11 free throws. You're not beating the Atlanta Hawks if you can't score. Now, Doc Rivers is absolutely right. Trae Young is a master at drawing fouls. He's cat quick. He stops in the lane. He's like a quarterback with pocket presence. He knows where his defender is at all times.
Go flying by, yeah.
And, you know, he'll stop in front of them knowing that they're coming up behind him at a particular speed or whatever. Listen, this is what he does. He not only can shoot, he can handle, he can pass, but he's exceptional at drawing fouls. And so as a result, he's going to hit his free throws. They're going to hit their free throws. You can't get Ben Simmons in foul trouble, but you also can't send Ben Simmons to the free throw line. He's not reliable. So Seth Curry has to make shots. Danny Green has to make shots. But Tobias Harris, whose 2 best seasons in the NBA have both been with Doc Rivers as his coach, first with the Clippers years ago and now with the Philadelphia 76ers, this brother can play. He's making $180 million for a reason. Tobias Harris has to be that dude. It's not enough to average 20. Tobias Harris is going to need to average close to 30 in this series, and he's going to need to shoot more than these shots. 13 shots, unacceptable. Tobias Harris needs to be shooting 23 to 25 shots a game. That's how you're going to offset what Atlanta throws at you, because they're going to score.
Yeah, I'm more worried about what the Sixers can do to try to slow up Atlanta. You're right, they're going to score, but you got to try and slow them up. And I understand Doc's point. You don't want to get Simmons in foul trouble early.
Don't turn the ball
over. As you mentioned, Trae Young is very good at drawing fouls if you put some, but you're going to have to figure out how to guard Trae Young. And I think in crunch time, when it matters most, Stephen A., even though he can't hit his free throws, it's going to have to be Ben Simmons. It's not like with the game online, it's going to be Thibault or Simmons, right? And can you play them both because of the shooting problems? The real answer to this, and I brought this up yesterday, is actually Doc Rivers. Doc is the guy who's going to have to step up. Throughout the year, Stephen A., he's played this all-bench unit, right? End of the first, beginning of the second quarters. When you play that, now, in the regular season, you can go 11 deep. In the playoffs, you tighten the rotation. You play your best 8 guys, 9 guys. Doc is sticking to his guns. He did it in game 1. First, Danny Green's on Trae Young. No good. You get down early. And then you get buried with your all-bench unit. You can't do that again. And Doc, sometimes the same thing that makes someone great, and Doc is a great coach. He's going to the Hall of Fame as a coach. But sometimes that same thing can be their weakness. Doc believes in what he's doing. But if he's going to be intractable and he's not going to reconsider this 11-deep unit in the playoffs, this exclusively bench unit to close out and begin quarters in the playoffs, they're going to wind up losing this series. I think the answer is Doc.
You couldn't be more wrong. And here's why you couldn't be more wrong. Doc Rivers, you're asking Doc Rivers basically to do what typical coaches do. You got to go with a strong 7. Okay? Bring 2 dudes off the bench, have your starting 5, and go with that. Max, ever since, you would be right if Lloyd Pierce was there. But ever since he was relieved of his duties and Nate McMillan has taken over, they've elevated their pace of play. They've pushed the ball up the floor more, which is why you see these guys for Atlanta getting open shots, and they're more than capable of burying them. So from a philosophical perspective, there is no question that the Atlanta Hawks are a team to be reckoned with because of pace of play, and they speed it up. Well, if they speed it up, you're talking about slowing them down. Well, let me throw this at you, Max Kellerman. Joel Embiid, although he's 26, we all know he's got knee issues, and now he's got a slight meniscus tear in his knee. That's problematic. Tobias Harris is 28. You've got Seth Curry, he's 30. You got Danny Green, he's 33. Excuse me, what are you supposed to do? You can't sit up there and press these dudes, okay, and make sure that you do everything you can to take them out of their style of play by just playing your 5 guys or 2 guys off the bench. You've got to go deep in order to press them, to pressure them.
But you don't have to go 11 deep.
Well, I'm not saying 11 deep, but you might have to go 9, well, look, possibly 10.
Let me give you another. I hear what you're saying.
You got to do it, man.
I hear what you're saying.
You got to do it.
They just wasted, on a torn meniscus, and Embiid almost went for 41 for 39 points. That's efforts.
Well, they turned over the ball 9 times in the first quarter.
You know what? Since we're talking numbers, I just looked it up. The Sixers bench, because remember, he goes with a full bench lineup in the first half. They were outscored 10-0. Every other throughout the game, Sixers lineup was +6 in the game. So I hear what you're saying. You may have some fatigued dudes, but if you continue to do this with the all-bench lineup, you're going to get buried against this Hawks team that scores very well and efficiently. You're just not going to do it.
Yeah, but what
you're
I'm
not going
saying,
to win.
You have to pick your spots where you're willing to amp up that kind of pressure. Because the fact of the matter is, if you don't utilize your depth early, you're going to have to use it late because your dudes are going to be exhausted.
Not all at once. You would play an all-bench lineup, all 5 dudes?
No,
that's what he's doing.
What I'm saying to you is that there comes a point in time where you have to do all of that just to spell for the dudes that you want out there. It's just the way it is. If you Embiid and you missed, how many games did he miss this year? Let me look this up right here for a quick second. Joel Embiid played in 51 games. He missed 21 games this year, okay? Conditioning is an issue because of that knee and how that's hobbled him. Danny Green ain't getting any younger. Seth Curry, he's there, and, he's 30 years of age, but obviously he's a youthful kind of player. But still, you just need to utilize your bench against Atlanta because their pace dictates that you have to use.
Then you're going to lose the series. If you keep throwing all 5 out there, you're going to lose the series.
Who's winning tonight?
Listen, I think the Sixers win tonight because if the Sixers do not win tonight, the Sixers are losing the series.
Okay.
They cannot come
Do
back.
or die.
I don't believe they can come back from an 0-2 deficit against these Atlanta Hawks.
Mm-hmm.
Against these Atlanta Hawks. If you don't win tonight, the Sixers will lose the series.
Who you got, Max?
I think the Sixers are going to win tonight.
Okay.
And I think Doc does make the adjustments. I think he has to.
All right. We'll leave it on that note. Stephen A. Cowboy player says their offense is unstoppable. They said,
That's what makes this funny. How about the Cowboys? How about the Cowboys on the way? Somehow, when they count, just wait. They will let you down. The accident, they will mess it up. Just wait. The accident, they will let you down. Just wait. The accident, the accident, the accident, waiting to happen. It will happen.
I'm predicting they're going to be irrelevant. I'm predicting an absolute embarrassment for the last decade and a half.
They make me laugh. All the talent that they have is unbelievable, man. Big D, teasing you. This is what they do. Walking through, we show up on cue. Accident, something will go wrong. The accident of the big Jumbotron. Accident, gotta recognize it's a black cat
Running around that franchise.
Say it with it. Accident, they will mess it up. Just wait. The accident, they will let you down. Just wait. The accident, the accident, the accident, waiting to happen. It will happen. How about them Cowboys?
it's time for Quick Take. Speaking of the Cowboys, while on NFL Network's Good Morning Football on Monday, Cowboys wide receiver Michael Gallup said the Cowboys offense could be unstoppable in 2021. Stephen A., are the Cowboys the best offense in the NFC?
First of all, the answer is no. I would go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I saw Swagoo with his trolls all over Twitter, too. What's so funny, Stephen A., what's so funny? They don't get it, Max. They still don't get it. Now we got a receiver talking smack. What do I say? What can go wrong will go wrong. 2 years ago, Damian Woody picked them to win the Super Bowl title. They've always had a roster. They've always had talent. All I've ever said is that something will happen. Just wait.
Pace yourself.
Be patient. and what has happened, Max? What has happened, Molly? Every single year something's happened. So now CeeDee Lamb is talking this. See, it's stuff like this that lets me know more the same is coming. More the same. And by the way, we're hoping Dak Prescott comes back healthy, right? His backup is some dude named Cooper Rush. Ever heard of it?
Yeah, I have. It's a very quarterback name, and you know it
I can see it. Go ahead, Max. Next up. I can see it coming. I can see it coming. I'm just saying.
Okay.
I love how they set themselves up for this.
Quick takes. You can't ask him about the Cowboys.
I don't even know why.
He's just having way too much fun.
It's
I let him go. All right, Max.
It really is.
Do this. Check out Arch Manning here, the nephew of Cowboy greats. Quarterback greats. Jeez, Freudian slip. Eli and Peyton Manning throwing a dime. What would Arch Manning have to do to be the best Manning in his family?
Woo. He'd have to have the elusivity and talent of Grandpa. He'd have to have the excellence of Peyton and the clutch ability of Eli. Peyton Manning was like the most excellent player who ever lived until it mattered most. Then Eli was the best, right? He may have all of that in him. He doesn't have to be the best in each category. Just mix it all up in there.
Yeah. And just beat Tom Brady twice in the Super Bowl. Max, Katie might have heard you talking about him yesterday, whether or not he's the best player in the world. Remember that debate?
Yeah.
With the ransacking of the Milwaukee Bucks last night, Durant is off to one of the best starts of his playoff career. It's his third most points and highest field goal percentage and three-point field goal percentage.
He looks so much like Tom Thibodeau, by the way, Kevin Durant in this video. It's amazing. He can do everything.
Oh, by the way, Tom Thibodeau won Coach of the Year, Stephen A.
I'm happy for him. I voted for Monty Williams, but I have no problem with Tom Thibodeau winning. The job that he's done with the Knicks, especially what we saw from the Knicks in the playoffs, showed how miraculous of a coaching job he did to get
I don't know why that was so controversial. Tibbs took a roster that everyone picked to be a terrible team.
A lot of people thought Monty Williams.
Yeah. Well, Monty Williams did excellent, but you knew the Suns, like in the beginning of the season, you knew they were going to be good, at least good. They were 8-0 in the bubble. They got Chris Paul. The Knicks roster had everyone believing they were going to stink. And Thibodeau got them to be a good team. I think he was
Thibodeau.
coach of the year.
He did a great job, but Monty Williams had the second best record in basketball.
He had a crew with him, though.
Okay, now back to our debate from yesterday. Kevin Durant being the best player in the world, Max saying Luka. We'll remind everyone what Max had to say on the show yesterday.
No. Listen up.
Well,
Luka is as likely a candidate to be the best player in the game at this moment as anyone. Kevin Durant is a better scorer than Luka. He's a better scorer than almost anyone who ever lived. Luka is much more like James Harden. He controls the entire offense, like Harden or LeBron. The difference is LeBron's hurt and Harden's hurt. Luka's not. That type of player might be the most important kind of player in the NBA. Kevin Durant, when Harden's been hurt this year, when he's been out, KD and Kyrie's record is not that impressive. When Harden plays, the record's very impressive because Harden, like Luka or like LeBron, is the dude that makes everyone around him better.
Max?
Yeah, see, I would like to.
You hedged your bets.
It's not a hedge.
Yes, come on.
Molly,
you do likely, that.
Right,
you don't give a definitive take.
It is my definitive take, so we're clear, so that you're clear on it. Because if you're clear, maybe other people aren't. If you're not clear, is very simple. LeBron is hurt. He doesn't have the playoffs to prove that he's the world's best player as always. So the crown can be seen as up for grabs. We don't know who the best player is. And it's like Bob Gibson said about the best catch of all time, Hall of Fame pitcher for the Cardinals. He said it's like watching pretty girls go by. The best one ever is the last one you saw. And that's like the best player in the league right now. The best player in the league right now is the last one you saw. Right now it's KD. He just had that performance. Hard to imagine when you're watching that there's someone better. The day before it was Kawhi. Remember what Kawhi just did in a game 7? The day before it was Luka.
That. So today you're saying it's KD?
What the point is?
Because that's the question.
The question
is did KD convince you he's the best player in the world?
No. The whole point is that's up for grabs, and there are a handful of dudes competing for it. And by the end of these playoffs, we'll have an idea. I'll be convinced likely, who the best player in the world is.
Okay.
Luka's not going to be playing anymore. It's going to be hard for him to prove it, but he played as well as anybody in these playoffs. Jokic has a shot. Let's see. He's the MVP of the regular season. Kawhi has been excellent. He has a chance. James Harden, if he gets back, has a chance. Obviously, KD. He's the best scorer on the planet. There are a handful of dudes. KD is one of them. And this morning, after watching him last night, he's the best catch. He's the prettiest one. He's the best player. And tomorrow, it'll be someone else.
Okay. So it changes every day for Max. It's the
until the end of the
last
season.
pretty girl that he saw. So KD was the last pretty girl he saw, Stephen A. How about for you?
Well, he's the best in the world. But let me say this to Max Kellerman. Seriously, man, you need to stop being so weak with these kind of arguments. That's weak. Seriously. No. It's weak. And I'm going to tell you why it's weak. You didn't have any problem calling Giannis the best in the world a couple of years ago.
That was predictive.
Time out.
And even at the time,
No. At the time, you said he was the best. Now, I know you changed your mind. I know you changed your mind in 5 days, which I teach you about. But that's not what I'm saying here. What I'm saying is you definitively said that's what he was. And you pointed to what you had seen over the course of an entire season. So what I'm saying is don't make the argument now, because I saw KD last night. Hold on. Because I saw KD last night. Now, if you say because of what I've seen from KD this year, or the last 2 years, or whatever the case may be, that was different. But to sit up there and insult basketball minds across the globe that call somebody the best in the world just because we saw them last night, that's not what we do. You know that's not what we do.
Now, let me be very clear. We can go back and get the tape on Giannis, on what I said about Giannis.
Okay.
That at the time was predictive. He was the MVP, and he was also great defensively, both ends of the floor. And he did it all year. And my presumption was he was about to prove it in these playoffs. But I said, here it comes. Here comes the playoffs. This is where we find out. The reason my rankings changed so much is because, as you would say, it was fluid. We were in the process. And why'd I even say Giannis? LeBron was hurt. Same thing. The injury to LeBron, to me, opened things up. Would it be Giannis? Would it be Kawhi? Would it be KD? Would it be this one? Would it be that one?
Okay.
And it wasn't Giannis.
Okay, I'm not going to let you chew up all my time. What I'm going to say to you, however, to remind you of it, is that Giannis was the best player in the world on a Thursday. They were up 2-0 against Toronto. You didn't even, and based on those 2 games along with everything else.
Correct.
So then he had a bad 2 games against Toronto, and Toronto tied the series 2-2. And you went from having them number 1 to number 5. That's a fact. So now that what I'm saying is it makes no sense. Now let me get to KD.
Perfect.
Here's why I tell you KD's the best offensive player in the world. There's no way to stop him.
Offensive or best player?
Offensive. And I would say the best player in the world because I think that what he does defensively is decent enough. You might find a better defensive player, but when you take into account how prolific he is offensively.
So you're making the argument, best player in the world.
I would make the argument he's the best player in the world, okay? Because I think that he has that kind of effect. This dude is efficient. He's a sniper. He's 6'11" with a handle. He's got a mid-range game that can rival anyone's on the planet. The guy's got long-range sniper ability. He's lanky. He's long. He can drive to the basket. He can defend shorter guys. He can defend guys his size. Now, if you got big size and girth and all of that stuff, no, you put him on your hips. That'd be problematic because he's skinny. That's about the only thing you could hold against Kevin Durant. When somebody came to me and asked me, because I got a Get At Me segment on my show, Stephen A's World, and this lovely young lady called me to ask about LeBron compared to KD. And we all know that I got LeBron as a Mount Rushmore. He was one of the top three all time. Because his record is his record. But LeBron shoots 73% from the free throw line. Over the last 3 seasons, LeBron hasn't even hit 70%. KD is a career like 87, 88% free throw shooter. He hasn't shot less than 85% from the free throw line in his career. And we know what a shooter he is. The brother is unguardable. He is lethal. I told you years ago, Giannis didn't even belong in the same sentence as him. Now, I know KD may not talk like that, but I'm telling you, that's how I feel when I see him. He's just that prolific. And to think about the Portland Trailblazers and the situation that they're in now, let me remind everybody, the Portland Trailblazers were the folks with the number 1 overall pick. And they drafted Greg Oden out of Ohio State.
People are still
and
drafting
passed up
centers
on
first,
Kevin Durant. Yeah. And they said, that's why they still haven't won.
All right, look, everything you said about KD's offense is true. If you asked me, Molly, if the question was, who do I suspect is going to be the best by the end of these playoffs after watching KD do that? KD is very smart. He understood, wait a minute, I'm 7 feet tall, I can score from everywhere. He could even defend, he could pass everything. Why isn't he on a Mount Rushmore, right? Oh, I don't have the championships. That's easy for people to understand. Let me make sure I have great teammates so people can see me play deep into the postseason, so I have a chance to play in the finals, win championships. He did that. He did it again in Brooklyn. Even Harden goes down, Blake Griffin steps up, dunks all over Giannis. He has great teammates again. So we are going to continue to see him play throughout these playoffs. And there's a good chance now with Harden's injury, he will be finals MVP. And at that point, if you said, are you convinced? Yeah, at that point, I'll be convinced. Dude, the lead changes depending on the last dude who played. KD played last. You want me to put him in first? Yeah. When Kawhi won a game 7, when Kawhi won a game 7, and you were the 42 points.
And you were the only one who said he's the best in the world.
He might be right now.
I can line up, and Kawhi is lethal. We know he's big time. I can line up one NBA analyst after another across the globe. And no one would agree with your assertion that the best is based on the last performance you just saw.
At this moment, because of injury, too, here are the following players. LeBron was hurt. We saw it in the playoffs. AD was not AD. Harden's out now.
You talking, but you ain't making sense.
KD didn't play a full season.
You ain't making sense.
Stop me when we get to an elite player who wasn't hurt.
You just keep talking. The point is, a couple of years ago when LeBron got hurt, you sat up there and said that he wasn't the best anymore because he didn't make the playoffs and he was hurt. And we said, yo, he's hurt.
No, that's not what I said.
Yes, you did.
No.
Yes, you did.
What I said was.
Yes, you did.
No, what I said was, LeBron always has the playoffs to prove that he's the best. He will not have them this season. So you look for who will.
No,
who's going to have them to prove it.
The argument was, what we said was that he had 10 previous years. In the postseason, where he showed and established what he was.
So what about now, Stephen?
So wait a minute.
What about now? Why not LeBron? He's hurt now.
No, it's my turn. You zip it. So 10 years, this man was in the postseason establishing his greatness. What we were saying was, because he's hurt and they didn't make the playoffs, that doesn't take away from what we saw the previous 10 years.
You just said 5 seconds ago, KD is the best player in the world.
Yes.
LeBron is coming off a title. He just won the chip. So he is hurt now, and you're giving it to KD. You're doing exactly what
we
did.
got a commercial break. We can come back to it.
Am I not on the record saying this about KD even when LeBron was healthy?
You said KD was better than LeBron?
When KD was hurt. Yes!
Because LeBron was hurt.
No, I'm talking
when they're
about
both
when
healthy.
KD was hurt. I even said that.
Oh, well, we have to go.
Because I watch his game, unlike some people.
There's a lot of tape we need to pull up. A lot's happening. Let's get into the commercial break.
Not for KD. It's there.
Okay.
It's all there.
If CP3 wins the title this postseason, does he make Stephen A's list of the top 5 point guards of all time? He'd be joining some magic company. That is next, y'all. In Phoenix's Game 1 win, Chris Paul broke a tie with LeBron James for the most playoff games with 20 points and 10 assists without recording multiple turnovers. CP3 shot 6 of 6 in the fourth quarter. That marked his most field goals without a miss in a playoff quarter in his career. Stephen A. Smith, take it away.
You know what time it is. It's time for this segment. It's Stephen's A-list. I'm listing some of the top point guards in the history of the NBA. Max, I want you to listen closely to me, Max Kellerman. I want you to listen closely. This is not just about resume. Resume has something to do with it, but it's also how you run a team. It's floor generalship. It's leadership. The impact you have on others, not just yourself. So we gonna go to number 5 on the list. Give it to me right here. CP3, number 5 all time. I know he doesn't have a title. Damn it, he's only been in one conference title game. But everywhere he goes, teams get better. We understand he's a miniature dynamo. He's a floor general. He's an extension of the coach, okay? He's that cerebral with a J, with handle, with superb passing ability. Decision making. Obviously has him right there. I got him number 5 all time. Why do I not have him number 4? You know why. It's right here. Give it to me. Isaiah Thomas. That's why. CP3 CP3 doesn't have a national title in college. CP3 doesn't have 2 NBA titles in the history of basketball with the Detroit Pistons. Beating Jordan along the way on numerous occasions. Beating Bird, beating Magic. CP3 doesn't have that on his resume. Isaiah Thomas does. By the way, Isaiah Thomas is top 2 to the one and only Michael Jordan. He once said that to me a long time ago. I never forgot that. Let's go to number 3 on the list, please. Give it to me, the great one. Oscar Robertson, 1961-62. Only person to average a triple-double before Russell Westbrook made it an ordinary thing. Oscar Robertson did that. A career 25-point-per-game scorer. A career 9.5 assists per game scorer. A champion in 1971 with the Milwaukee Bucks, by the way. A 6'5" point guard who could rebound, who could assist, who could pass, who could score. The great Oscar Robertson belongs on any all-time great point guard list. I'll give it to him top 3, of course. Why can I not give him top 2? Because I'm not that old, that's why. I'm in this modern generation. And I know what this man right here does. Steph Curry, the greatest shooter God ever created. Oh, by the way, his movement without the basketball compromises defenses extraordinarily well because they've got their head on a swivel, wondering where he's at, that he's opening up opportunities for so many other people. From the point guard spot, him affecting a defense, the way that he affects the defense is why you got to put Steph Curry top 2 all time at the point guard spot. But we cannot ever put somebody number 1 unless their name is Magic, the great one himself. Earvin Magic Johnson, a 5-time champion, a man that went to 9 NBA finals, who dominated the 80s. I'm talking about Showtime coming to LA. I'm talking about making a fast break popular. He had Max Kellerman getting on his treadmill or his elliptical machine, for crying out loud, because he said, I want to run and I want to fill a break whenever I want to play the game of basketball. Magic Johnson had us doing that. Magic Johnson made fast break layups in vogue. Magic Johnson made the no-look passes special. I know the Bob Cousy's of the world and others, but the Rick Barrys of the world and so many others with the no-look passes, the Pete Maraviches of the world and guys like that. But Earvin Magic Johnson, when you think point guards, you think about him first. These are my top 5 point guards of all time. Period.
Hold it right there. Hold it right there.
Let's go.
Stay right
Let's
there.
go.
I just want to know. This is your point guard list.
My point guard.
Correct. So floor generalship, whatever that means.
That's right.
Like, this is your point guard list.
This is for me.
I just want to be very clear about it.
Yes.
It's perfect. I can't even argue. It's perfect.
Thank you very much. Take it away, Matt. Take it away. Stay right there. Stay right there. Stay right there and point to the perfection, Matt.
The only thing I can say, the only argument I can make is if you want to talk about LeBron James or James Harden, but I know you're not thinking of them like point guards. Magic is number 1. You could argue a little bit here. If Chris Paul wins a chip, he's a perfect point guard. Only thing he doesn't have is size. Otherwise, he does everything perfectly. I can't argue it. But Isaiah got 2 chips. You can't put him over Isaiah. Not only are those 5 the right 5, they're in the right order. I give it up when I give it up. That's all.
All right. We'll leave it
You
there.
got it right.
Okay. We will leave it there.
They
Stephen
do
A's list,
call me
perfect
Stephen
agreement.
Naismith.
Stephen Naismith.
Who are they? I want to meet they. I want to meet them. All right, guys. If A-Rod gets dealt and packs up, just where will that leave Green Bay? The Packers' murky future debated next on First. When the Green Bay Packers start roll call for minicamp today, there will be a notably absent Aaron Rodgers, making it the first mandatory offseason event the quarterback will have ever missed. Sources telling her Adam Schefter it won't be cheap either. Rodgers is subject to more than $93,000 in fines if he does not show up for the entire 3-day camp. No stranger to a minicamp or 2 in his day. My guy Teddy Bruschi joining the show. Where are you, Teddy? There he is, with the summer feels on the tie. I see you, Teddy. I like it. Thanks for being with us. I will get to you in a second, but I'm going to start with Stephen A. here because you know how personal it is for him. Stephen A., where do the Packers finish with a disgruntled Aaron Rodgers?
Even with a disgruntled Aaron Rodgers, I still think they win the NFC North.
Okay.
I still think they really go to the playoffs, and I still think they challenge for the NFC title because I think that Aaron Rodgers is that gifted. I think they've got enough talent. And I think everybody knows that. What we have to stop doing is acting like this is about football. We know that the Green Bay Packers are a quality football team. Mm-hmm. We know that they have talent on their roster. What we also know is that Aaron Rodgers believes he can go elsewhere and still win. It's not like he believes he's going to go somewhere else and wet the bed and they ain't going to do anything. He doesn't want to be there because it's personal. I believe with him and Mark Murphy. I believe with him and Brian Gutekunst, the combination of the two. And I think Mark Murphy validated that when he went on the public airwaves and accused Aaron Rodgers of dividing the fan base. He said the Aaron Rodgers situation has divided the fan base, to be more exact. So, I mean, that's what it is. And I think it's one of those situations where Aaron Rodgers is actually looking at it and going like this: why should I help him win? Not the organization as a whole, not the teammates, stuff like that. But Aaron Rodgers' success in Green Bay means their success in Green Bay. And I don't think he wants them successful. And I don't blame him.
Yeah, and disgruntled Aaron Rodgers. I believe he was disgruntled last year. He still won the MVP. So that type of mindset sometimes is good for certain types of players. Aaron Rodgers, of course, takes things personally. He took it personally about drafting a quarterback in the first round, trading up. Those two words, traded up to get a quarterback. You know, he took that personally. I mean, he remembers how he came in the league and he was waiting in that green room, so he's had a chip on his shoulder forever. But they'd be good with Aaron Rodgers. But I got to tell you the conflict that the players in the locker room are feeling, because they know they messed up. All right, the players know they treated Aaron Rodgers. They disrespected him, and that they got to do something to make it right, because everyone knows that in today's NFL, you got to do what's best for the team, and sometimes you got to do what's best for the quarterback in terms of his feelings and the way, you know, he feels about his situation and winning and all of that, because that's how important that relationship is. So players feel disgruntled themselves to what happened with the upper management, but also I would want them to play hardball with Aaron Rodgers, because the longer this goes, the more leverage the team will have. And I don't care if Aaron Rodgers comes back the week of the regular season. He'll still be ready to go, because I want to win, and you're not going to win with Jordan Love as your starter.
I think that people are, Stephen A., you're sleeping on the NFC West. You know, when you look at the teams that have come out of the NFC West, San Francisco, Seattle, they've been in the Super Bowl recently. The Rams. Yeah,
Arizona's up and coming. Yeah,
Arizona's up and coming. So I don't know. I don't know how far they get. And Teddy, this is what I want you to weigh in.
I just said NFC.
Yeah. I believe. I'm just saying that they got to the NFC Championship game last 2 seasons. I don't know that they do that again, because I think there's been a change, Teddy, and I'm interested in your opinion about this. Aaron Rodgers wasn't so disgruntled that he made it public. He wasn't he wasn't missing anything with the team. He didn't publicly let it know. It wasn't the biggest story in sports that, hey, I want out, and they won't let him go. Teddy, is it possible? I know he's a professional. I know he'll play well. Is it possible to win a Super Bowl with a quarterback who doesn't want to be there? I say the answer is no. I think the Packers know that. Molly thinks, no, you can still do it because professional pride, he's not going to get himself hurt. And Stephen A., he's going to play as well as he can. I think there's more to it than just the X's and O's playing as well as you can. It seems to me the quarterback, the reason Brady has won so much, has to be all in, heart and soul. Can the Packers win a Super Bowl with Rodgers if he doesn't want to be there this year?
Man, if it's in Aaron Rodgers to say before he comes back to the Green Bay Packers, I was wrong. Why don't I come in here and play out this year before I can get out of there? Once he's made that conscious decision, they're still good enough to win a Super Bowl, in my opinion. He can compartmentalize that type of aggression towards the front office. He'd have probably an understanding that I don't see you. You don't come down to the locker room. This is what I'll do with my teammates. I don't even want to talk about it. So you just stay up there, Gutekunst, and all you guys up there, and let me do my job. There would be that type of situation that would be worked out, but he'd still be good enough and he'd still be motivated, and he would elevate the play of everyone else if he made the decision to get there. But that's just the thing. Do you think Aaron Rodgers is the type of player that would say, yeah, that's my bad, man, let me go in and be a good teammate?
Nope.
No, I don't.
I don't think he is. Not only do I not think he's that kind of person, I will say this, Teddy. You just said something. For the first time, I sit here and it makes me think it's possible that he could play next season for the Green Bay Packers for the first time because of what you just said. If it's easier to get me out of here after next season, and you tell me I don't have to look at you, I don't have to talk to you, I don't
Could
want you to
motivate
say
him in
a
a way.
word.
Yeah.
I said, stay the hell away from me. I will come here and do my job. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to see you. Don't even say hello to me. Leave me the hell alone. If I have that type, because that's an element of peace and tranquility. When you look at somebody that you have animosity for, when you are in front of a person that you don't like and you don't want to be around, and you got to talk to them, that's hard. It really is.
Yeah.
But when you get to sit up there and say, you know what? Don't even look at me. I don't even want to see you. That could go a long way.
I agree.
That's the first time I actually thought about that. I mean,
Stephen A., and I'm telling you, the longer this goes, they decide to drag this out, the more leverage I believe Green Bay has, because teams are going to look at this and saying, they're not going to trade him. So why should I put anything on hold to think I'm getting Aaron Rodgers when I need him here during these type of camps and this type of time, so we can get things worked out. So the longer it goes, I think Aaron knows they have the leverage and they have a better chance of getting him back.
Teddy and Max, but guess where I'm at too? I'm not completely dismissive of the notion that Aaron Rodgers would be willing to sit out the season rather than play next year for Green Bay.
Oh, I think he will be willing.
I'm saying I think that he would. I think that he's the kind of person. And listen, he's spending his time in Cali. I think when he's not. So let me get this straight. I think somebody this morning pointed out. I think it was Hasselbeck. It wasn't. I'm trying to remember who it was that said it this morning. But they talked about how Aaron Rodgers has made over $200 million in his NFL
Tim
career.
said that, yeah.
Yeah, Tim Hasselbeck, right? There was Tim Hasselbeck, right? It's not implausible that he could chill in the California sunshine.
This is the whole thing.
Instead of Lambeau Field in Green Bay for a season and then come back for 2022.
That's what I'm saying. The way I see this playing out is if Rodgers adopts that position, which I think is likely, and the team believes it, it's not even about how strong your bluff is. It's about if you have real conviction. Then the team has a choice. We're not going to get Rodgers anyway. Oh, we can get 3 firsts and what for him? Why would they not trade him?
I also think it sends, Max, I also think it sends an important message, Teddy. And you tell me if I'm wrong. I also think we've reached a point in time in the National Football League where the league itself, the team owners, they have so much power over the players because your guaranteed contract is really about your signing bonus, etc. I think Aaron Rodgers has an opportunity to send a profound message to these teams about their treatment of players.
Yeah.
I really do.
Where it's even bigger than him. But I just want to underscore something you said really quick, Teddy, and then you can have the final word here. That last season he was also disgruntled and he won MVP. So the part where you were saying if he does stay, he can compartmentalize and get the job done like a true professional.
And just real quick, you've got to realize who else is watching all of this, and that's Jordan Love. And how they're treating Aaron and how they want him. Do you really want the next one, if you believe that strongly in Jordan Love, to come through all of this, to come through all this mess, to be that next quarterback you think it's going to be, and you're trying to get Aaron back? And so, I mean, the conflict inside of Jordan Love must be something too. This is not exactly the typical way you want to develop a young quarterback.
And we've talked about Mark Murphy and his public statement about Aaron Rodgers' situation dividing the fan base. We've heard Gutekunst acknowledge they could have treated him better, they could have handled things better, et cetera, although there weren't many specifics. And we do have quotes from the NFC Championship game when the ball was taken out of his hands. And Coach LaFleur comes out and says, I didn't think of talking to Aaron Rodgers about that decision. Aaron Rodgers wasn't aware. He thought he was playing with 4 downs, and it turns out he was only playing with 3. So what you have is the man running the organization trickling down to the GM. And of course with LaFleur it wasn't intentional or whatever, but it's with him forgetting to talk to Aaron Rodgers.
Connected.
Right, it's connected.
They're connected.
And there's a connected level of disrespect that has been accorded to Aaron Rodgers, and that is what this is about.
Molly, when you say he won last year, he won the NFC Championship game last year, and that's, he was disgruntled, but there's a straw that breaks the camel's back. They move up, as Teddy said, move up to draft my successor when I could get some help, maybe put me over the top.
Okay.
Then they take the ball out of his hand with the moment of truth, and finally he's like, "Yo, I'm out."
And let me say LaFleur.
Yeah, and the final thought Aaron has is Aaron has just this thought of, I've been carrying you guys for too long, and I'm not going to make you look that good anymore.
That's
so
right.
let's see what you can do with your prize quarterback that you traded up to get.
And just in case Coach is watching, it's LaFleur. Let me not play with his name. It's LaFleur. Okay.
I thought you were just working on your French. I know you spend times in Saint-Tropez and stuff like that.
Because I'm serious about this stuff, so I don't want to be distracted by mispronouncing his name. Because I hear he.
Are you allowed to pronounce it correctly, but with flair?
I guess I've heard he's sensitive to that when I say LaFleur. So
if he said Stephen A. Smith, would you have a problem with that?
Not at all.
Okay.
Not as long as you spell my name correctly. It's with a PH, not a V. That's it. That's all I ask. That's all I ask.
Teddy
Bruschi.
Teddy, help me. Just help me. Pray for me. Do a couple Hail Marys, okay? Right. For me. Thanks. All right, guys. We'll leave it there. We know the Nets are the favorites, but who are the most overlooked teams still remaining? Max and Stephen A. sleepers. That's next right here on First Take.